What's up, folks? Welcome, man, to another episode, another edition, another show, whatever you want to call it, of the Sim Standard podcast with myself, SimFBallCritic, and my good brother Smitty. And AzureEffect is always here in spirit. But how's everybody doing, man? Hope everybody is great. I see we're already live streaming, so we don't even have to wonder if it's working. It is. So, hello. How you guys doing? We'll get right to it, man. Tonight, of course, we're going to give our little, a little introduction, anything we might want to talk about in terms of our respective football team, anything else that's not on the docket as far as the topics. And excuse me, guys, as I'm taking my eyes away from the camera, I'm looking over here just to make sure that I don't miss anything as far as the topics, because once I write them, it's not like I sit there and try to memorize it. But what we definitely want to talk about, man, it's in the title. We're going to talk about the return of college football. Hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. And I'm going to say that again later. I'm going to save it, but I told you. Whenever it comes back, I told you Big Bad EA was going to be the one to do it, especially if the NCAA name is attached, which right now it isn't. But we'll get into that. We'll talk about that, man, and we definitely want to talk about as well the Madden title update. Not so much as far as how the game plays since then, because I haven't had a lot of time to play it. I'll actually play a little bit on the show here. But just in theory, as far as what was addressed, we'll talk about if that was a good thing, bad thing, and maybe some of you guys in the chat that's had the opportunity to fool around with it, you could give us, your thoughts on how the game is playing. But also, I want to talk about this other thing, man. The NFL signs a deal with Skillz. I'm not so familiar with them, but I read up on them a little bit. It's basically like a mobile gaming operation where they're allowing multiple companies to compete. It actually says, and I'll get into it when we get there. Well, we'll start with that topic. So momentarily we'll get here, but it basically says competing developers will have the opportunity to develop an NFL-themed mobile game. Mobile. I got my thoughts on that, and y'all will hear those thoughts here in just a moment. But before we do anything else, Smitty, let's do our normal. How's everything going? How was your week? And anything you want to address outside of those topics. And in case he's here already, we will be bringing a guest on the show tonight, Brett Lee, former EA developer, will be on the show with us as well to dive into the EA talk. So there you have it. But what's going on, Smitty?
Oh, not much, man. Just everything's going good. We've made a move for Stafford, of course. That's the big thing here in Detroit right now is
Gotta
made
hear
the
your
move.
thoughts on that, brother.
Yeah, look,
Mm.
I will say this. I'm not mad about the move. Right now, like I said about it on Twitter. I mean, it's unfortunate we gotta let him go. But at the same time, he pushed back from the table. He was just like, man, look, 12 years. I'm stressed out. And he even said, Patricia was like the last straw. Like he was the one that really sent him over the edge in that regard. So he just was like, man, I gotta go. Gotta get out of there. So to see them make that deal, I'm glad that the thing around here was to a degree was, and then you saw it on Sports Center and everything, was like seeing him get that first deal, his deal done, was kind of like setting the tone to a degree. Like, so what about Deshaun Watson? What if Aaron Rodgers decides to leave or anything like that? And it's like, what does that do? In a sense, it sets the tone because it's like, look at what Stafford was able to get. Now you look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers and the pedigree he has, and then also on the flip side, you look at the Texans and you look at the pedigree that what's my man's name has. It just Watson, that Watson has, and he's a younger quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And he's pretty good. So I mean, and it's cool. Like they played a snippet from the new coach there for the Texans, and he's like, "No, Deshaun Watson is our quarterback." So I'm, hopefully he does stay. Hopefully he does stay, because when a coach is going up in his introductory, speech, or I should say, not interview, but his introduction to the media, and he's making it well known, like, look, this is our quarterback. Like, you have that full blown intent, especially clearly he knows everything that's going on. So it's like he's going to I'm pretty sure he's going to try his best to keep him there. But focusing on Detroit, I mean, look, the next move is, look, we got the draft picks, we got Jared Goff. Worst case scenario, 2 years go by, Jared Goff, if he's worthy or not, we could go ahead and let him go. You know what I'm saying? The other part about it is we got these multiple draft picks. We got 2 first rounders and a third this year, and then 2 first rounders in the next 2 years. That's going to be awesome to be able to pick 2 first round picks. We're going to have 5 first round picks in the next 3 years. So that right there, that's awesome. Now, well, potentially, this is the thing. The way this Stafford whole thing is going to work is this. These draft picks got to pan out. That's the whole thing. If the draft picks pan out, then we won the trade. No question. Right now, though, the Rams won the trade in principle right now, because of we got Jared Goff. And it's not, look, if Jared Goff's game can honestly be worked upon and he plays a decent degree of football, I'm not saying we won't get a QB for the future, because there's some good QBs in this year's draft. But at the same time, we also would have the luxury of waiting till next year, because we got the 2 first round picks. Mm-hmm. Now, we're expecting to not do much of anything this year, because we're basically starting from the ground up. So, excuse me. So if we're really going to make something happen, I personally feel we should get the quarterback this year. If the right player falls in our lap at 7, take him. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we do horrible next year and we get closer to the top, that's a whole nother thing too. You see what I mean? So it's like there's multiple things that we can play around with in this case scenario. But what we've been throwing around here locally is like we can draft a player, let him get some tutelage under Goff. Yeah, he's got the hefty contract, but then possibly let him go, bring in the new guy while he's on his rookie deal, and then try to strike while the iron's hot before it comes time to re-up. And plus, like I said, we'll also have those other draft picks as well to work with. So that's going to be huge in our favor too. So, and then also Kenny Golladay, what's going to happen with him? Excuse me. Because the thing is, he can go as a free agent this year, or we can franchise tag him and keep him for another year. Now my man's going to want a good amount of money, but at the same time, he hasn't been the most reliable receiver. Also, does he want to be part of a rebuild process? And I mean, look, it's not like Golladay was a first-round draft pick. Now, he's a good receiver now, but it's not like he was a first-round pick. You know what I mean? I think we picked him in like the 3rd round. I think it was a 3rd-round draft choice, if I'm not mistaken. 2nd or 3rd round. So we can get another wide receiver. That's not really the huge issue. I honestly think since you're rebuilding, let go of the pieces that you feel are not going to be workable like that. Golladay, he may have mentally checked out on the Lions because of the whole Fisher thing, to be quite honest, because he's a good receiver. He may honestly have mentally checked out. And then he may want to just go ahead, be like Stafford, get a different change of scenery, go to another team. Perfectly fine. Completely understandable. And then get as many of those pieces out that you possibly can on offense and defense that were from that regime, the Patricia regime, and then just build off of that. But I mean, look, I'll say this: it sucks to let Stafford go, but the one thing that I have been saying, and I said it here, and I've said it talking on the phone with friends and all kinds of stuff. Now you're hearing people talk about, especially I got to shout out Dan Orlovsky. Much I appreciate him because he talked about, he basically made the point of look at how all these other teams, how all these other quarterbacks are able to do what they're able to do because they have much better situations than what Stafford had in Detroit. Now, I think it's I think it's a bit exaggerating it a little bit to act like, oh, Rams going to be in the Super Bowl next year because they got Stafford. Now, I ain't going to go that far. That's a bit extreme. But he is Matt Stafford is an elite level quarterback. If you put him in a Green Bay Packers setting, any of these other settings where they're winning at, he'd be winning too, just like those guys. But he didn't have that benefit. You see what I'm saying? He didn't have the benefit of that. He had Calvin Johnson, who basically quit. He quit early. He didn't have to quit yet. He could have kept going, and he decided to hang it up. He went through the same thing like Barry did. These dudes quit when they could have kept on going. And it's because the team wasn't really going nowhere. And that's the whole point. Stafford stuck it out as much as he possibly could have. So, look, I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he's on a team that he could definitely be that he can accomplish. I believe he can do some good things with as long as the team as long as he's put in position to succeed, just like these other top tier quarterbacks are, he would be phenomenal. So I look forward to seeing what's happening. I know, look at what he said. Freddie said, he said, I'm up here capping. Hey man. Hey, look, I'll tell you this. How many quarterbacks? I'm like, yeah, like in a team sport, in a team sport, what you got to remember is this. I've yet to see a quarterback throw and catch his own passes and score his own touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never have seen that. And the teams, like football is the ultimate team sport. So it's like when you make the point saying like, oh, well, he's not elite, he's not this, he's not that. How many elite quarterbacks play for predominantly losing squads? They ain't that. Usually they're not. Pat Mahomes came into a winning situation. The Chiefs were clinching divisions before they drafted him. You know what I'm saying? The Bills were the Bills in horrible shape when what's his name? I can't think of my man's name. Their quarterback Josh Allen when he got there, or Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? Like you had to have pieces in place. You had to have some things clicking. Your defense had to be fairly good. Your offense had to be nearly in order. You had to have some good stuff in order to win. So that's the main point. So, but I'm not gonna make this big old Lions thing. I could go on and on. I could go back and forth with these cats all day on that. But no, that's all I got to say, man. I'm glad to see Stafford on a team that has it together. Now Stafford is on a team, even though their window is small because the Rams are putting all their eggs in one basket. But he is on a team that is in much better position to succeed than the Lions are. I don't know if you want to act like I'm like I don't know if we want to act like I will say this. If Matt Stafford is not an elite quarterback, then Dan Marino's not an elite quarterback. Because Dan Marino had multiple losing seasons. He only made it to the Super Bowl once, and that was his second year. And he had a spotty record the rest of his career when he was in Miami. Yeah, he made the playoffs and everything, but at the same time, the teams that he had were still better than what Stafford had with the Lions. So he didn't come away with a Super Bowl chip, and he's been bounced out of the playoffs multiple times. Does that mean he ain't elite either? Come on, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a team thing. If you don't have a good team, you're not gonna go far. It doesn't matter how great of a quarterback you are. He had all the all pro accolades, the Pro Bowls, and everything, and his team still will go home, no playoff appearances. So it takes more than just a quarterback to win everything. You know, so you gotta have everything together. It doesn't work like that. So, but that's all I got. I'll throw it to you, Sim.
I'll say this real quick about that situation, and then I'll give a little sprinkle on the Steelers. Ain't much to talk about there. I don't know how everybody else defines elite because I see some disagreement in the chat, and that's fine. You know, everybody's opinion is different. I will say this. I think a fair assessment in my eyes, even if you don't want to say he's elite, I think Stafford has elite level talent. I've always thought that about him. He has the arm. I think he's smart enough. So I think if you don't think he's been elite, then that's fine. But I do think he, as far as just skill set, I think he has elite level talent. Because the argument I saw here in the chat was, if he was elite, he at least would have won a playoff game. I don't know if I agree with that all the way, because do you guys remember who the quarterback was for the Baltimore Ravens in 2000 or 2001, whenever that was, and won a
Trent
Super Bowl?
Dilfer. Yep.
Was he an elite quarterback?
That's what I'm saying.
I'll give you another one. Mark Sanchez went to the AFC Championship game.
Oh.
Was he an elite quarterback? So, again, we all have opinions, but I'm just saying, when you look at stuff like that, I don't think it's that cut and dry. I don't think you can just say, because he hasn't been to the playoffs or won a playoff game, that he can't be close to elite. That's what the chat said. Not even close to elite. I don't know if you can say that he's not close. But again, I could see the argument on both sides. If you don't feel that he's played at an elite level, that's all opinion based. I just think the eye test tells me that he has elite level talent. Brad Johnson, there's another one. So that's all I'll say on it. As far as Pittsburgh, guys, ain't much to talk about. You know, if you guys were here for Terrible Towel Tuesday, I already did that. One guy in the chat said he sees that the Steelers, the coaching hires have been questioned by a lot of people. I don't know much about these guys. You know, Adrian Clem, who's the offensive line coach now, was an understudy. He's been on our staff for the last 2 seasons behind Sean Surratt. So if the offensive line didn't do great last year, Surratt left and now his understudy takes the job. I don't know how you feel about that. It's the same situation when Munchak left. Sean Surratt took his job. Surratt was the understudy. But, I mean, again, when it comes to coaches, I'll be open and honest with you guys. I don't always know these guys' resume. I'm going to be honest. I never know that. I usually don't know coaches the same way I know players, so I can't really give an opinion. I would just say that I thought the Steelers would sign somebody on the outside. It does feel like the offensive line hire, that hire was more of a, let's settle with this, because they'd already talked to, I think, 3 outside candidates. So it does feel kind of like a subtle move, because if this guy was going to be naturally promoted, you would think it would have just happened. You know what I mean? Instead of him kind of being the 4th choice. That's what it seems like. Now, again, we don't know. Maybe they brought in these guys just to interview. Same way they did with the offensive coordinator position, even though most of us knew that Matt Canada would get it. And like I said on Tuesday, let's be real, I kind of feel like the Hugh Jackson and Pep Hamilton, interview was probably Rooney Rule requirement. Let's be honest. That's probably what that was. There's no way on God's green earth that I think that they really considered Hugh Jackson. Pep Hamilton, maybe. But I kind of feel like the Steelers brass knew they had to fulfill their Rooney Rule obligation. And that's why some of those guys were hired. And you want to go deeper than that, hey, maybe that's why Adrian Clem was hired. I don't know. I'm not trying to throw that out there. I'm just saying. But that's all I got on the Steelers, man. Hey, we're not playing Sunday, so what's there to talk about? And yes, I will say this, to Smitty to chime in on Stafford. Man, when I saw that trade, wow. I mean, I'm not mad at Detroit in a sense because, yeah, I don't. You get a lot, but it's like, wow, like I can't believe the Rams would do that. That's a lot. I mean, look, whatever talent we think Matthew Stafford is, I don't think any of us thought that multiple first round picks would be thrown in the mix. Like the dude is 32 years old. I'm not saying that's old, but what I'm saying is you're basically saying we have our quarterback for the next 4 or 5, like technically. Now he might be a dude who plays longer than that, but realistically it's safe to start assuming certain quarterbacks might not play beyond 37, 38. You know what I mean? So it's the Rams trying to go get it right now. And yeah, I think Stafford is talented enough. Again, I think he has elite level talent, and I think it might shine in a Sean McVay offense. So I want to see this same conversation, Smitty, if the Rams are formidable next year. Like if they, for real, they not just a playoff team, but they look like a playoff. Like by week 13, we looking at them and they sitting, what I'm saying? They had like 12-1 or something, what I'm saying? They looking like a dominant team. I want to see what people's comments of Matt Stafford is at that point. I want to see that. But anyway, guys, let me read 2 comments before we get started. I wanted to take time and say shout outs and prayers, man, to Billy the Kid, man. He mentioned about his daughter having pneumonia. And I know that had to be a rough time, man. So we're glad to hear that she's okay, first and foremost. But, prayers to you and your family. I hope that continues to be the case. And then I want to read Kia's comment really quick. He says, 32 isn't old for a quarterback anymore. You can get 4 more good years out. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was saying. You're looking at Stafford, realistically, he's playing another 4, 5 years maybe. And I guess the Rams feel like they're talented enough with him, with that defense, to get it done. We'll see. Quick question, Smitty. Because I haven't watched Detroit enough to know the answer to this. Have you felt like since Stafford has been there, has there ever been a time where you felt like we got the defense along with the offense to go far? Has there ever been a time where you felt like that the defense was strong?
There were years and this is like single years. It would be a season here and a season there where the defense and offense would actually click. But the problem was when we got to the playoffs, we got exposed. Like within Stafford's first 5 years, they went to the playoffs against the Saints. They went 10-6 and they got in the playoffs. And see, the thing was, our secondary wasn't good. Okay, it wasn't that good, and our linebacking core was weak. So we had Sue and Kyle Vanden Bosch. They anchored the defense, the defensive rush. So that pass rush, we disrupted a lot of O-lines to make QBs throw the ball early. So in turn, we got a lot of pass deflections. We got a lot of INTs because they were throwing it ahead of schedule. And on the flip side of the ball, we had Javid Best, Mikel Assure. Both of them had a little over 500 yards apiece. So we actually had a decent rush attack established, which in turn opened up the passing game. So the problem was when we went up against a good team that could focus in and say, all right, let's hone in on these Lions here, which were the Rams. As soon as we couldn't generate that rush, Sue wasn't getting through that line no more. See, he wasn't doing any of that.
Gotcha.
And then we couldn't run, and our game became predictable now. We couldn't really move the ball like that, and they blew us out. And then we had another year down the line where we went 11 and 11 and 5. And once again, in the playoffs, the defensive staff that we have, the defense did a good job. I will say that. But the problem was, once again, offensively, we were predictable. And when it mattered the most, we couldn't run. We had no running game, and our offensive play call was very limited. We had, what was it, Joe Lombardi for the longest time, for a while. And this was under Caldwell. So we had the years we went 9-7, we had the 3 9-7s and 11-5. So yeah, we had winning records for 4 years, but we went to the playoffs 3. So I mean, we had a problem on one side of the ball with execution, and we did a good job defensively, but the problem is we didn't have years of this happening. We weren't shutting folk down defensively for years. We weren't great offensively for years. It wasn't like we just had a great team like that. So no, it will be like a season where we do great, and then other seasons where we're not really that good and we just eke out wins just enough to be, to make the playoffs or to have a good record. But we never had that consistency there. So, and that's like when my man says Tim Tebow had a playoff win. Once again, you're talking about at that point in time, he was playing for a much better Denver Broncos team than Detroit. The Lions were. Hey, wait a minute. They beat your Steelers. That Steelers team.
That's what I was gonna say.
Better than the Detroit Lions.
That's what all I see is stiff arm.
Yeah.
Because of sickle cell anemia, Ryan Clark was unable to be the saving grace back there to make the tackle. Instead, is Ryan Monday. And Ryan Monday gives the inside leverage, and then Ike Taylor just gets stiff arm, and the next thing you know, they're dancing in the end zone. But Steelers fans would know this, and let's be fair. The Steelers weren't good that year anyway. They stumbled into the playoffs. But Smitty's point, I still get his point, though.
Yeah, like, these teams are all better than ours. And that's what I'm saying. Like, these teams are so much better than ours. So when people say, oh, but he ain't do what Aaron Rodgers did. He ain't do what Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre and Dan Marino and Kurt Warner and all these other guys. Well, they all had much better teams than what we had. You know what I'm saying? When Aaron Rodgers loses and he doesn't have a winning season or anything like that, you know what they're saying? Oh, Aaron didn't have. It's always what Aaron didn't have. Oh, but see, if these dudes played better, if he had this over here and he had that over there. But see, when it's Stafford, he should just do it. How? That's why it cracks me up when people just point at Calvin. I'm like, bro, you could call Megatron out all day. He's one player. Last time I checked, even Joe Montana threw to Dwight Clark. You know what I'm saying? He threw it to multiple targets. He didn't just throw it to one guy, and that's it. Oh, this is how I'm gonna get all my bowl championships. I'm gonna throw them all to Jared. No, the team you have around you, all of it matters at the end of the day. And that's why I say offensive and defensive coordination is key. That's why when you look at teams like yours, I'm pretty sure people be calling for Tomlin's job in multiple seasons, and they want him gone. And I'm like, bro, you don't let a guy like that lead the building. That's a great coach that you have there. You work it out. If you got to fire coordinators or whoever personnel, whatever it is you got to rearrange, you rearrange it. But you don't get rid of a guy like that. Because look at what Detroit's going through. You know what I'm saying? Look what we're dealing with. So, and we've been dealing with that for a long time. We ain't been winning. So that's why it's like, yes, we had, I could say that now, we had a legit quarterback that if he was on Kansas City, people would be saying he's an elite quarterback. If he was on any of these winning franchises that have it together, For the most part. I'm not saying you got to be number one offense, number one defense, or you got to be a historically great team. But what I'm saying is the Lions are a very low bar. And it's like some people here in Michigan, and I don't even know, maybe some people in the chat may be saying it too. But we act like the Lions are that much better, and they're honestly not. They're terrible. This year, exceptionally bad. But I'm just saying, in general, they are a bad team. They are a average to below average team. And if they get in the playoffs, more than likely them cats is going home because they come in with the same play call, same everything. Nothing changes. And we supposed to just win. Oh, but if he was elite, he would have did this. No, it don't work like that. You got to have the weapons, and you got to, you gotta be more methodical and diabolical with your scheming and your game planning. When you're not doing that and you're one dimensional, always, oh, we can't run. Oh well, I guess we're just gonna be stuck. Come on, that's what we did all the time, man. Period.
Yo, some of these comments, y'all crack me up, man. We gonna get into these topics, but I'm just gonna share this really quick, man. I'm in full agreement with what NYKia said. He says it's the curse of being exceptionally talented. People look at how gifted Stafford is and wonder why his resume isn't better. It's natural. That's how I feel. Listen, I haven't seen every Detroit game, and I know some people say, "Oh, he could have played." Maybe he could have. I don't know. I didn't watch his career like that. All I know is when I have seen him play, my eyes tell me this guy has elite level talent. Has he been an elite quarterback? That ain't for me to debate. That's for Smitty and others who watch the Lions. I can't jump in that conversation, but I definitely think, like Kia said, exceptionally talented. What was the other one? Oh, what I was laughing at with the comment, and shout outs to DJ 313 Detroit. He says the Lions need new owners. The Fords don't care about football. I don't know.
He right though. He right. See, once again, that's another reason. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. Maybe y'all know.
But see, hold on, wait. I'll say this real quick. This is why even Mike Valenti, 313, he'll understand this. This is why Mike Valenti, if you listen to his radio show, that's why he's actually intrigued. He actually gives a care about what Detroit's doing now because of Dan Campbell, because of all these dudes that are hired in. It's like, wait a minute. These guys they actually got rid of Stafford. They actually are bringing in like capable guys at coordinator and guys for scouting and okay, they got something here. They got something interesting. And why would he have that kind of reaction? Just like many other people had that kind of reaction. Because the Fords, they let Matt Millen run his team in the ground. Him and what was it? Mayhew signing all kind of bad deals and contracts and everything else. Dude, they didn't give a care what this team was looking like. They just was like, man, look, as long as we get butts in seats, we good. They weren't concerned about what kind of team was what kind of team was being built here or how they perform or any of that. So that's it, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, dudes keep coming with he had Calvin. Like, this ain't basketball, man. You can't say like, hey, Jordan had Pippen. Oh, okay. Like, so this ain't it, man. It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, name me the quarterback that's throwing and catching their own passes. Like, I don't see him. You know what I mean? It don't work like that, bro. From the top down, all of that stuff matters that all of a sudden you guys saying don't matter. Like, I'm pretty sure if the Chiefs didn't have that coordinator, I can't think of my man's name, that offensive coordinator, I don't think their offense would be popping as much.
Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah. Like, if they ain't have him, I don't know. Who's to say that Mahomes would be doing what he's doing right now? That's
semi-debatable because Andy is a great play caller.
Oh no, he's a great coach. But I'm saying though, for him to trust the coordinator, like I'm just saying, like his coordinator is doing a great job. I'm not saying Andy Reid don't know what to do, but I'm just saying, like, look, you put that job on your coordinator to come up and make things happen, and if he ain't there, just saying.
We'll see, man.
We'll
It's
see though.
like I
We'll
said,
see. We'll see.
I watch the comments, and again, y'all know how I am, especially nowadays. I just let the people have their opinions. It's yeah, y'all know how I feel about team sports and stuff like that. You can't always put things on a player, but when you can identify that said player is playing horribly, then that's different. But I don't know. I haven't watched his whole career, but that's for some of you guys to debate who's really watched him and who are, Lions fans. Other than that, man, let's get into the topics. Brett Lee, if you are hearing us, just let us know when you want to come on. I know you wanted to come on and share some thoughts tonight with the EA stuff. So what we'll do is we'll start off really quick with the news of the mobile game stuff, and then we'll save the Madden title update and really the main topic, the college football topic. We'll hit that next. So really quick, man, in case you guys haven't heard, I'll even read you the actual little piece of the article here. The NFL and Skillz. Skillz apparently is like a mobile gaming company. I didn't even really know who they were. I didn't know much about them, but it says NFL and Skillz signed multi-year gaming agreement. High-level part of the interview here just basically says the NFL and Skillz, the leading platform for fair, fun, and meaningful competition to crowdsource a future mobile esport. As a part of the agreement, two sports organizations will host a global game developer challenge. Competing developers will have the opportunity to develop an NFL-themed mobile game. The game will be powered by the Skillz esport platform and will have joint marketing support from both the NFL and Skillz. The last sentence I'll read here says the combination of the NFL brand and the Skillz platform will set the stage for the future of electronic sports competition. Just let me give you my thoughts on this, why it's important for us. Well, may not be important. It stinks a little bit, guys. Let me tell you the angle I'm going with it. This makes me feel a little more pessimistic about what 2K's non-simulation product is going to be with the NFL license. Let me explain. Again, I could be reading too deep into this, but that's just my personality. Maybe it was my upbringing. I've always been taught to not see what's right in front of you. Look past that. Why is the NFL making these? Why are they doing these deals in different segments of their NFL brand? EA Sports is the big quote fingers for this. Quote, 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 quote. Big quote fingers. EA Sports or Madden is the simulation NFL product, right? They have the sole exclusive license to make a quote unquote simulation football product. What does that mean? 11 on 11 representation of 22 people on the field. I would assume franchise and all. I don't know what all goes into it, but the most layman way to understand that is 11 on 11 action with NFL names, players, likeness. That's what you would consider a simulation, right? NFL and EA have that exclusive deal, which we all know last year they re-upped the deal 5 more years. Soon after that, we heard about the NFL coming to an agreement with 2K Sports. And we all was like, yeah! Woo! Until we got the official news. Then came on the booze. The official news was it is a non-simulation product. We weren't quite sure what that meant, and we're still not quite sure, but guess what happened? Same day, EA Sports nudges us and reminds us, hey, keep in mind, we still are the only simulation license in the business. So did the NFL. They came out and said it. So did 2K. And remember, I kept saying that's a little odd. Why are they trying to make us understand that this is a non-simulation football game? Right? I also said maybe the gameplay could still be good. Maybe it's a my career type of situation, right? Where you basically it's an open world type of thing, and it's kind of like the city or my park, or whichever one you guys remember. I think the city is the newest version, or the neighborhood, whatever it's called. I don't remember, but I'm thinking maybe it's a model like that. Makes sense for 2K to do something like that. Or some people have said maybe it's going to be like WWE, the Battlegrounds thing, or maybe it's going to be like 2K Playground, NBA Playground, because remember, 2K acquired that company, or I don't know if they acquired it, but they at least merged or what have you, and then 2K is distributing the NBA Playground game. So one might say, oh, well, maybe they were setting this up all along to have kind of an arcade division of certain games. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I'm speculating. Now we have a mobile game coming into the fold. Madden Mobile. You guys familiar with that? Why all of a sudden now the NFL is going to open the opportunity for somebody else to do a mobile product? Kind of makes me think that maybe, they want to get some more, fruits of that labor as far as, get a little more piece of the pie in the mobile space. Don't hurt nothing. But the reason why I'm saying this is important to us is because, again, this makes me feel like they are purposely segmenting their NFL football pockets, like their brands of the football game, which makes me further believe that the NFL 2K non-simulation game is definitely going to be a non-simulation representation of football. I'm not talking about the way the game plays. I mean, it could be 2-on-2 with authentic player movement and tackling and physics and all of that. Could. There's no rule saying that they can't do that. But as far as what they are presenting, I further believe now that it's going to be a full-blown arcade situation in terms of the packaged product. And that's not going to keep your attention. Let me explain what I'm saying. Sure, we'll play it and have a good time with it, but that's not the replacement we're looking for. It's just not. We want a football game with 11 on 11, with a full-blown franchise mode, deep depth franchise mode, with authenticity on the field. That's what us here on this show, the majority of us, that's what we want. We're not going to get that in this NFL 2K game, because to me now it's clear. I could still be wrong. There could still be hope for the future. Smitty mentioned this too, I think, last week, that you never know. 2K makes enough noise, makes enough money. Maybe the NFL will look at that and say, you know what, let's go back to the table and let's allow these guys to get in. Guys, that's best case scenario. If you don't learn anything from me, just take this one jewel away. Never look at things from the best case scenario in terms of something you want. Have your expectation, but you should also be modest and say, all right, it might be more like this, but I'm hoping it's that. Don't go into it just automatically saying it's that, because then you're going to get disappointed. It's the same sentiment as, undersell, over deliver. It's the same sentiment. That's how my mind works, even with expectations for anything. I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna temper my expectations and let me be blown away. Instead of me thinking it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, and it's gonna be that, and it ain't none of that, and end up being whack. So that's my unfortunate news, guys. How I feel. I could be completely wrong, and Smitty will definitely share his thoughts here when he jumps back on. But you have to kind of read the tea leaves, man. it don't, again, let me explain this again for those of you who've never heard me say this part. Some people are saying, well, maybe they could be sneaky and they're making a 11 on 11 experience and this and that, talking about 2K. And I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. Because remember, they have the NFL Shield. They're going to have the NFL Players Association. Why would the NFL allow them to make a full-blown simulation product but package it as non-simulation? That makes no sense for anybody. Unless you're thinking that the NFL and 2K are in cahoots and then they're just going to come out and stun Madden. No. There's no benefit for 2K to advertise non-simulation deal. Where's the benefit in doing that if they're just going to allow them to sneakily make a simulation game? That don't make sense, guys. Use it. Use this. Like my dad used to always say, use your head for something more than just a hat rack. Use your head, man. And listen, we could be wrong. I'm just saying, educated, logical guess would tell you, because the NFL name is on it, don't expect it to be no simulation game. In terms of presentation is what I'm saying. Now, I think it would still be dope if 2K, what if it's a 7-on-7? You know, if the gameplay is authentic, great. Even if it's 2-on-2, you know, even if it's literally an arcade game, I would love for the gameplay to be authentic in a sense. But I just, now them doing this deal for the mobile thing and they segmenting, you know, the 2K to be non-simulation, and then they coming out and clearly saying that EA still has the exclusive license for a simulation. I don't have a good feeling. I don't have a good feeling about it, guys. I don't. Let me see what you guys got in the chat, man, as we wait for Smitty to come back. Let's see here. Luke Coates says college football on EA not going to be good if the real teams and players are not in it. Well, don't get so hung up on that. We're going to get to that topic in a minute. But don't get so hung up on that, man, because in the day and age of roster share and all of that, that means nothing. Think about even when NCAA was out. You want me to give another fact? NCAA game never had the real players. Most of us would get the roster from Operation Sports. Remember that? So it didn't ship with real players. I think what will happen, though, is I think the schools will be there, of course. I think they have the opportunity to still do the schools and just have generic players. Like, literally generic players. Like, not even matching the numbers. Like, not even saying, you know, this is numbers so-and-so, you know, for number one from Ohio State, and we all, you know, his measurables and skin tone and all that matches Justin Fields. No. You understand what I'm saying? They can literally just have the team in just completely generic rosters. That's probably the way they're going to approach it. Because if I read something that said that they will more or less have the teams, and you also would have to imagine the teams that are even in Madden right now, you know, in the face, you know, what did you call it? Face of the franchise. Those teams are probably going to be, you know what I'm saying? So at the very worst, I think that's what's going to happen. You have the teams, you have the players, as far as generic, and then the community will do the roster just like they did in OS. All right, Brett, we'll get you on, man. Soon as Smitty pops on back in here, we'll shoot you the link. I think Smitty, or both of us probably have your information. We'll shoot you the link here to the Zoom. Actually, I'll go ahead and do it now. If you want to shoot me a quick message on Twitter so I can jump in and send you the link that way. What else y'all got? Angel Morales says, I always felt that 2K should have signed with XFL for a football video game. Yeah, that could have been cool, man. Ray Singer, or is it Senga? I don't want to pronounce that wrong. He says, NFL 2K Street, just realistic body types, not cartoon. That's possible, too. It's very possible. Could be an NFL blitz situation. You know, it's a lot of possibilities. I just don't think it's going to be what a lot of us are hoping that they sneakily, if that's a real word, do. Like kind of sneak it in. It ain't gonna be that. The NFL ain't gonna allow that. Somebody else here said, would you say couldn't they do? I just lost the comment. There it is. All the sports all the time says, couldn't they just do 10 versus 10 or 12 versus 12? Yeah. And I know you said laugh out loud, but nah, man. You guys have to keep in mind, for anybody who's really thinking that the NFL is going to dictate exactly what they present. Again, why would they even allow it to be close to 11 players on it? So let's see what else y'all got. NYKia says they are going to have the schools. They are going to have 100 of them. I think EA knows what is coming with the NCAA and them allowing player likeness in the future. Yeah, I definitely think, just like Kia said, man, I'm pretty sure that the teams are going to be there. Again, the way they duck around all of the nonsense, thank you, Mr. Ed O'Bannon, a very sarcastic thank you. What they're going to do is basically just have generic players. And like I said, I'm sure they're going to have roster share. And, we'll probably be looking at places like Operation Sports again to provide us with the real players if you really need that. Luke Coates says, so if the college football game has mostly everything we want, do you take Madden as a spot as a what? He says as a spit in the face, I think is what you're saying. Well, let me get to that in a second. Bring Rex to make NCAA. No, Rex ain't coming back, but stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say. Stay tuned. I think Rex will be presenting something to a lot of us, man, that people may enjoy. But he's not coming back to EA, and no, I'm not talking about him working on a football game. But just stay tuned. Thank you to King Arthur, man. You donated earlier as well. He says, what are your top 5 must-haves for the college game? Everything NCAA had. That's that simple. I need, honestly, man, if it was a remastered, if you will, I'm not talking about one-to-one. I'm just saying, if you basically gave us NCAA features with 2020, whatever year is going to be, with updated gameplay, I'm good. All of the features that are still not in Madden. The deep, recruiting process, which I always felt like they could use that same type of thing for scouting in Madden. And the pitch system, how you had to woo guys and interest and all of that. And I'm not even talking before NCAA 14. Remember before when how the pitch system used to be? There it is. There's your free agency, right? Composure. We have none of that in Madden. The home field advantage, we have none of that. The composure made it feel like you was actually playing in a Rocky Stadium, right? Because the lines was all wiggly, and remember how, the receiver sometimes would do this and be like, I can't hear you, and you couldn't call audible. Dog. All of that. But like I said, everything that you love, the depth of Dynasty Mode, all of which we love in NCAA, that's all I need them to do in the college game. Just improve the gameplay. That's it. Feature-wise, I'm sure it's more to do, but I'm saying, realistically, if they focus on what was done there and build upon it, we good. We good. We good. Even Ikea just says the same thing. If they ported NCAA and renamed it NCAA 23, that would make plenty of people. See what I'm saying, Kia? With updated gameplay, because I would expect, just like I'm expecting now, even though it ain't there, outstanding gameplay in this year. We're in year 2021. You think if they come out with an NCAA 2023, that would be year 2022. Come on, man. Give us that level of gameplay on the exact same model that you have for NCAA. We in the house, baby. But all right, guys, let me see if I can get Brett on, man. Because in the meantime, while we wait for Smitty Smith to come back, we could have Brett. So Brett, either shoot me a message or send. There you go. There you go. There you go. So I see you. Give me a second, man, and I'm gonna shoot you the link to the Zoom. And you guys will just have to bear with us, man, as we reformat the screen or whatever so we can get Brett in. But you don't have to be on camera, Brett. If you just want to come in via audio, that's fine as well. So don't even worry about having to come in as far as, camera. That is completely optional. So here comes the link, my man. And whenever you're ready, come on in. King Arthur, thank you again, man, for the donation. Let's give you a round of applause. If my math is correct, that's 3 donations already tonight from just you. Round of applause. He says, would you apply the pitch system to Madden free agency? And would you expand the traits for the coaches and skill tree? Yes. And again, I've always said, why didn't they put that same type of, that pitch system would be perfect. Like the foundation would be perfect to use in Madden for free agency. Perfect. Like, we should have to woo these guys. All of that stuff, like, just think about even in NCAA 14. And like I said, that was even stripped down from previous years. They made it more streamlined. But just think about the little stuff that's on the screen. What's important to the player. Winning culture and, all of that type. Just think about that in free agency. We need that. You might get a dude that now, he been playing in Buffalo all these years. He tired of the code. You know what I mean? We need all of that. As you guys see, I'm adjusting the screen here in real time. But let's welcome, man, Brett Lee. We got Brett here on the line, so definitely want to throw it to him and get his thoughts while we wait on Smitty. But first and foremost, how's it going, Brett, man? How you been?
I'm doing good. Sam, how you doing, man?
Can't complain, man. Just trying to stay alive, brother. That's about it.
I hear that, man. Yeah, I was in shock and awe when I got the news yesterday, and I just all kind of different ideas have been rumbling in my mind about what the future holds, and I think that with this big announcement, recently I've been getting involved in stocks more, so I'm seeing how stocks kind of run a lot of business decisions and big businesses. And one of the things they said that with the release of NCAA football, they said this couldn't be the biggest drop or biggest release date in the history of EA because of the anticipation alone. And in this day and age, you don't have to never worry about games being sold out because you can get it digitally and everything else. But the best thing I heard what they did was the fact that it's not coming out till next year because it gives it time for them to really get the game done right. And I know they got a lot riding on for Madden 22 to be a lot better considering what Madden 21 did. I mean, yes, they sold pretty well, but no, they looked very bad with the issues that they had. And bringing back some of the old producers like my man from 2K, Rob Jones, and the other guy, I can't think of his name right now.
Scott OG.
Scott OG, and bringing them back, that brings a little bit better of like maybe they can probably turn things around because this is huge, man. I mean, this is huge considering that now, like you said earlier, EA has a simulated license, so that they're not gonna come out with no. I mean, you can never doubt them, but I really don't think they will come out with an arcadey college football game. I think that would really piss a lot of people off that they did something like that.
Right.
And if you'll be battling yourself, because that's the one thing that when I was there, yes, EA made Madden in college, but there was a big confrontation between those two. It was a big battle. They took pride in having a better game amongst each other. A couple of years, college was better than Madden. It just had more depth. It just had better gameplay for a lot of people, and they were really playing, having a better, they had a better product. And I'm a Madden devotee to the end, but hey, it is what it is. At times, college was better. If you come out and make a college game that gives us what we want, but your Madden game is not, that's gonna rub people the wrong way. That's not gonna be good. They got to come back with a more simulated style of game and give the people what they want. This is the time to do it. You don't have to worry about competing against 2K and whatever game they're doing. Now you've got a two-headed monster that can really take over what they need to do. And it's the golden opportunity for now hey, we got a year and a half to produce a game that people have been wanting for the last 7 to 8 years. And the first wave of we do it to make sure that we do it right is for this year's Madden, we need to turn the page and start doing things the way it needs to be done. And there's no more excuses. There's just simply no more excuses for them not to give a better product than what they have in the last 7 to 10 years. It is time. It is overdue. It is really overdue. And they're gonna start. I'm telling you now, if they keep coming up with this, whatever they want to call a football game, people are gonna fade away. They're gonna lose faith in it. They really are. And I mean, I'm seeing it already. And like right now, I'm doing a draft right now, and in my Madden right now. But it's just, how much fun can I possibly have doing this? It's just the same stuff. Yes, it's PS5, but it's the same stuff, and it gets tiring, man. It gets tiring. It's I tried fantasy draft. I tried all kind of way to make things better, but it's just not good. And we need something better. And I really believe coming out with that big news yesterday, that's the first step in going in the right direction.
Man, I got a question to throw at you, and then Smitty, I definitely want to get your thoughts after Brett answers the question. It's just Smitty, the whole overall college coming back. Here's the question that I want to throw at you, since again, some of you guys that may have never heard the shows when Brett was here. He used to work at EA, so he knows how everything works there. But I see some people even in the chat asking, do we think it's going to be basically a skin or copy and paste from Madden, but just done in a college atmosphere? And before you answer that, well, I'll get to the question after I say this. I want to remind everybody, the game that we all really appreciated, NCAA 14, it's the same engine that Madden runs on. It always has been. Remember when Apex used to do those videos and we did the videos? Remember the one video Smitty he did called the potty tackle or something, when the guy looks like he's gonna sit down and he pops back up. He's like, he looks like he's taking a potty.
Yeah.
It's all of that same stuff happened in Madden. It's the same exact engine. Yep. Gameplay team for the most part for Madden 25 and NCAA 14, same people. When Rex used to say he still doesn't feel like they made a game quite like NCAA 14, it wasn't completely gameplay. He's talking about total package. And Madden hadn't been like that. So that question I had for you, Brett, working in that business and working for them specifically, do you think it's even possible? My answer is no. So I'm going to just throw it out there, and I hope you correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it is possible that we're going to see NCAA, let's just call it college football, that we're going to see college football on a completely different engine than Madden. My advice, folks, would be pay attention to what Madden continues to do until that game comes out, because more than likely, the underlining of it, the gameplay engine, animation, et cetera, is going to be the same thing in the college product. But What are your thoughts on that, Brett, from a development standpoint? Is it even feasible to think that it's going to be a totally different game than whatever the current Madden is that year, or B, here's a wrench I would throw in it. Could they be building something from the ground, and as they're doing that, both this and Madden would be introduced with this new system? Like, let's say it comes out, hypothetically, we're going to get the NCAA or college football 2023. So let's say in next year, both of them are featured on this brand new built from the ground technology. Which one do you think is more likely?
I think that it's going to. I don't think they're going to have a new engine. I just really don't. Not to say that they can't make better improvements or what we're asking for, but it wouldn't come out next year. It would come out another year, especially with the way the society is right now, dealing with the COVID and stuff. You need so much time. That even have until next year, I don't think it would be enough time to do that. I will hope that maybe I can be possibly wrong. I really do, but I seriously doubt it. I just don't see them coming up with a brand new spanking engine and a total different type of gameplay. They're just too stubborn on the simplicity of how this engine works for them, and the tweaking and adjustments they constantly keep trying to do. And I don't want to put that out there to not give hope. No, I'm not saying that. I think that some of the issues that Madden has is there's things that they still can't really figure out some of the fixes they need to do. Not to say they're not incompetent, but some of the issues that they handcuff because the big wigs don't want that certain style of gameplay. And some of the issues are because this is a new generation system. They're still learning what they can possibly make on the PS5 and the new Xbox. But I still don't think they have not reached their goal in making the game the way it is. I give you a perfect example. The PS5, the PS5 Madden that came out, one of the things I liked about that game was the passing mechanics was so much better because how you can place the ball where you want to, not necessarily where the route's going. Like, for example, if it was an in route, but up above was open, you could make that almost into a post route because the way you want to lead it. And now they came up with these patches, and it's it's not really there no more. So it's like I see some. At times I see some good development what they can do to that, but then they taper it down because they don't know a good way of countering some of those ways of stopping the pass or whatever's working good in the game. So that's why this year is very important for them to come out with a good Madden. It's really, really important to make an improvement this year for them, because if they don't have a good Madden, there's people already saying that the college is going to be just a Madden makeover. They got too much to lose by not coming up with something authentic and a college style play. I mean, even when they made the college game before, yes, it was the same engine, but it was still different.
Yeah,
and that's all we're asking for. Yeah. It was still. I mean, I was just talking about that today. It's so over 100 something plus teams. So defense, it was hard to find a real good defensive team. I mean, you had them on there, but just 120 plus schools. You're not going to have 80 good defensive teams. You probably have about 20, 25. And you think about in college, look at it in real life. It's not no really powerhouse defensive teams. They all spread out. So, and that's what made it great, because it showed the difference between college and pro. They got to maintain that mentality. And I'm hoping that they hire the right people to get them in that direction, because, basically the majority of them from NCAA are gone. And maybe they brought some of them back. I mean, hey, they brought back Rob Jones. You never know what they might be possibly being able to do. And this is the other thing that you got to realize too. Just because you're a big wig don't mean that you're not desperate. They're getting to that point where they're kind of desperate on getting the right people to get the game done the right way. And And when you see them hiring some old employees that they used to have, that means that, hey, we got to get back to the basics and get back to where we need to be. Because they hear the chatter, they see the Twitters and pieces that people have put on them, and they're human just like everybody else. They know they got to step their game up, and they better, they really better. Like I said earlier, when them stocks is getting involved, you better live up to the name that you need to make a better game.
Yeah, man. And Smitty, real quick, just to chime in on a couple of things I saw in the chat, and Smitty might maybe even speak to this. I see a lot of people ask this question even here and on Twitter, and do we think that they will have a separate team working on it? You guys you got to look at it from a business standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
If let's say they had a separate team working on it, that doesn't mean that the philosophy will be totally different, because that doesn't make sense company wise. Like, I get definitely what Brett is saying makes sense on a competition level. The inner fight, like, yeah, we're gonna be better than college, and we're gonna be better than Madden. But globally, the organization is not gonna have 2 football games in their building, and one of them has this phenomenal engine, and the other one, it just, come on, guys, you just got to think about it like that.
It just will not happen that way. No,
yeah,
absolutely right. No.
So even if they had separate teams, it would just be so they could dedicate more resources to whatever they're doing for the college and to whatever they're doing for Madden. So that's how I will answer that. It definitely could be more people in a different team, but not a whole totally different philosophy. I wouldn't think that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts, Smitty, man? Oh, go ahead, Brett. My bad.
No. I was just saying, I completely agree with you. What you're saying, it's no way they would do something like that. There's no way.
What you think, Smitty, man? Because as you come in, Smitty, I want to remind people too that me and Smitty saw NCAA in studio at its worst. Like, it's amazing with the final product. Like, it really comes down to tuning. Because you got to admit it. Go back and look at NCAA. Man, what? You talk about holes in the coverage, bruh. Oh. Dudes be college open in NCAA. So it's funny sometimes when we see how nostalgia sometimes will make people gravitate back to things. And we all loved NCAA. I took it for what it was. But coverages sometimes was like college open.
Bad.
And it was intended to feel like that. So, what you got, Smitty?
I mean, look, now I wanted to touch on, because I know I had to go away when you were talking about the deal, the NFL deal thing. I want to touch on that too.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just say this, though. I'll say this about the NFL deal. Well, also with the NCAA, it kind of goes hand in hand here. The thing about it all here is, first of all, like what Brett was saying, look, whatever these dudes do with this college game, it doesn't have to be this brand spanking new engine and everything, but at the same time, it does have to have those elements that make the college game, even if it's not full-blown feature rich, which I'm not expecting the first game to be fully blown out. Am I expecting it to be what NCAA 14 was? No, I'm not even expecting that. I am expecting them to have some features in there to make franchise, the dynasty mode playable, like not playable, but have a decent amount of retention value. But I'm not expecting NCAA 14. And what I mean by that is I'm not expecting it to be as feature rich to the point of 14, because you got to remember NCAA 14 was the byproduct of all those years being built up to that point. So I don't think, seeing that they're bringing this back, I'm not sure if this is going to be a straight continuation. That would be a dream come true. But I don't see it being a straight continuation all the way across the board. So that's my sentiment. Now, The other sentiment that I have with it, and this goes in line with that NFL deal with the mobile game and with what's going on with 2K. Now, remember, like I've said this a few times, though, EA signed that exclusive deal with the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 2K got the player rights and the team rights in the midst of that exclusivity. Just like these guys were able to get a deal. I know it's not for simulation football or it's not 11v11 or anything. It's basically like an NFL blitz game. Okay. But with 2K coming back, these announcements, they didn't announce that NCAA. They announced that NCAA the other day for a reason.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Number one, I mean, yes, you're reporting your numbers and everything like that, but talking about that, see, if anything, you made that announcement to get to try and elevate your share prices. Because, oh, snap, they're bringing back the NCAA series and everything. Oh, time to invest in EA.
Yep.
So there's that reason. Secondly, because you got 2K on the horizon as well. You need all the buzz you can get, because if 2K makes a decent game, even though it's not simulation, and I know what Sim said about, look, it could mess around and be straight arcade. We could be sitting up here thinking one thing. It could mess around and be NFL Blitz-esque kind of game. It could literally be that, as far as we know. But if they make something that actually is a viable product, don't be shocked to see the NFL come up and say, oh, NFL 2K 23, yeah, simulation. Oh, but EA, we got our exclusive deal. No. These guys are going to be making it too. Based off of what they did, we're letting them get it. Case in point, Star Wars. We all remember seeing when EA got the deal, they painted that all across the screen. Exclusive, a partnership and everything like that. They're the only ones that can make a Star Wars game. Ubisoft just announced a few weeks ago. I said it last week too, but Ubisoft just said a few weeks ago, hey, we're making a Star Wars game. The Massive Studio, which are the people that made Division 2, they're about to do a open world Star Wars game. So there's no hindrances and restrictions involved in that as far as we know, but they had the exclusive rights on everything. And EA did the same thing. They quickly came out with an announcement. Oh, wait a minute. We still got other games down the pipe. We coming with titles now. Okay, but the bottom line is you guys had this exclusive deal, and now you got another AAA studio making a game that you guys should be making.
Yep.
So what does that mean? Disney could have saw, man, you know what? Star Wars Battlefront 2 didn't go the way we wanted to. That what was it, that Squadron game or whatever that came out, that didn't go the way we wanted it to. Man, you know what? We need to give somebody else a shot. Now, let their game hit. What if they mess around and open it up even more? What if they nullify the deal? It ain't like they ain't got the money to say, man, we just buying this out, man. Y'all, this ain't working. Now they either gonna step up or they're gonna fall. Same thing here with this 2K situation. If 2K makes something viable and people really gravitate to it, us included, guess what? Oh, look at these numbers. Dang, look what they were able to do with this kind of game. A non-simulation game, and they did that? Hey, what their numbers look like with NBA 2K? Oh, they did that too? Yeah, we're gonna open that up. We're gonna let them make a football game. What do you think is going to mess around? What do you think EA going to have to do now? Now they're going to have to make sure that college football is extra crispy. You know what I'm saying? Because if it ain't right, guess what's going to happen? Hey, college 2K football, college football back. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We back in the building. That will it'll happen. I'm telling you. Or you'll see Sony, and they'll come with it. It'll happen. Hey, y'all thought they'll mess around and be like, oh, you thought we NCAA, hey, we got that game breaker. They'll bring that whole thing, they'll bring it back. Look what they're doing this year. I just gotta say this real quick sidebar. Even though I don't play MLB The Show like that, I gotta get that steel case edition. Jackie Robinson on the cover, bruh, like straight up, real talk.
Yes.
I didn't think that, because see, when I had saw the announcement that they said they officially made the Negro League part of the MLB, I'm like, okay, it would be sweet if Sony did something in the MLB The Show or something like that. Like, I would play Diamond Dynasty just to get a player like him or Satchel Paige. If they do something like, I don't know if they would, but I'm saying I would play it just because of that. But I gotta get just because Jackie Robinson on Jackie Robinson on it. Come on,
you can't go wrong with that.
No,
you can't go wrong with that
at all.
Yeah. So, when I heard word about that, I was like, oh my God, I don't care how much it costs. I'm getting that.
That's what I'm saying. But see, you know what? The thing is, because of the reputation Sony has created for themselves, capturing the authenticity of the ballparks, the players, both past and present, I know they're gonna do Jackie right. And that right there is like, I ain't even got to see gameplay. That's automatic. Now, if it were Madden or some junk like that, Doug Williams edition, I'd be like, man, I don't know if I'd even want to mess with that, man, because I know EA ain't gonna do him right. He gonna look no different than any other quarterback in that game. All these dudes gonna look the same.
He gonna look like Doug Flutie.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no disrespect to Doug.
And I mean, it's not disrespect to him, but I'm just saying though, it's like they don't do it right. If it's 2K, I cop it. If you see what I'm saying? Like, I can't. I don't have that correlation with EA like that. So I'm just saying, all of this stuff comes full circle though. I know a sidebar with the show thing, but I'm just saying when it comes to the licensing and it comes to the product quality that you put out, the caliber of the product, who it is that's putting out the product, it all makes a big deal. NCAA, I mean, EA beat out 2K and Sony. I don't know if they had an exclusive deal back then with PS2 and everything. I don't think they did. I'm not sure if they had an exclusive NCAA deal or not. I'd have to check into that. But the bottom line was, even without that, their game was better than Game Breaker, better than 2K's by far. But like what Sim said earlier, when you play NCAA 14, if you played it right now and you've seen all the coverage issues, all the gameplay issues that the game has, people are caught up in that moment. That's just like people upset with 2K right now and they playing Live 19.
Mm-hmm.
These same cats, same dudes posting video. Yo, Live 19 vastly improved, better than ever on PS5 and Xbox. The only thing that's different is the graphics got a slight touch up because of the upscaling on the system and the load times. It's the same game that you got upset with and left and put out to pasture. All of a sudden, yo, y'all got to be on it. No, it's like when you had something there and you don't have it no more, you want to play it. Now all of a sudden you want to play it. Just like NBA Street. And my retort to that is, well, how come y'all ain't playing NBA Playgrounds? But y'all want EA to make NBA Street though.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gonna pick that up and put that down just as fast. Y'all put down Playgrounds. You could get Jordan in that game and everything. Ain't nobody playing that. They don't give a care. Oh, we got 2K licensing and all that. They don't care. But give me Street. I don't even be playing it that long. You know, so this is what I'm saying. You got to put out a quality product, man. Not quantity, not because people say they miss it. You got to give people that quality. And that's why I seriously hope NCAA is going to have to, it's like this. NCAA, I believe, is going to have the basics as far as giving us the essential college football game. So you'll have your dynasty, you'll have your recruiting. It may not be as robust, but we'll have that. Now, I would love for them to have coaching carousel, and I would love for them, if anything, even if you don't have the carousel, I would love for them to have the coaching trees with the abilities, because you could actually customize, you could create coaches, essentially. Like, you can name real world coaches and say, let me add these tendencies to him because this is how he is. And that's tight. Because now, like what Kia says all the time, all these schools play different. They all have their own tendencies and things like that. They all don't play one-to-one the exact same way. But I'm not, and listen, shout out to the people, the college football revamp people that done those mods that you could do on the whether you playing on your console or playing on the PC. Shout out to those guys, man. Phenomenal work they done with modding the scoreboards and the jersey edits that they made to update them and all that stuff. Phenomenal work by those guys, and that's appreciated. But just like playing NFL 2K5 or APF 2K8, those games have a very limited shelf life because at this point, because the core gameplay has so many holes in it. Yeah. They're Swiss cheesed up. And yes, you could look at some beautiful plays in there, but it's a lot of Swiss cheese going on in there too. Is this exciting right here? Yeah, don't get me wrong. When I saw that announcement, I fired up NCAA myself. I was like, yo, I played it. But see, that's the thing. I haven't touched that game in over a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's my first time touching it because of that announcement. Like, I got excited a little bit. I'm like, yo, let me play for a hot one. But once again, I got to see, oh yeah, this is why I don't play it. You know what I'm saying? Just that fast. So I don't want to see, I'm with you guys, I don't want to see this game be in the mold of Madden 1-to-1, because the one thing, Brett, you may have said it when I was away, but NCAA football was always the game that got Madden's features the following year.
Exactly. They got the Madden features, or if it wasn't that they didn't get the Madden features, they added more features to show, hey, we're evolving as well too. They fed off each other.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, that's another valid point. They would add stuff in terms of college, the collegiate side of it. If it wasn't core gameplay, they added some stuff. Well, no, they added things that were happenings on the field and stuff like that. Like they would make refinements to the player composure, the stadiums and stuff like that.
How do you not have that in Madden, man?
I still don't get that. I still don't get that, Sam.
Dog,
I mean, you know, well, you know what? I remember I wrote up a bug on that, right? I wrote up a suggested bug when they used to give us an opportunity to give us suggestions. I said, why don't Madden have the aspect of a player being rattled? Their response was, when a player gets into the pros, they at a professional level, they don't really get rattled. Okay, well, at least let the rookies have that aspect if you want to have that type of mentality. But you can't never say that players don't get rattled. The best players get rattled. Yes, man. I wish I could pull the database of all these bugs or these suggestions we used to write up. And they just shoot us down. And the frustrating part about what they used to shoot us down, they didn't shoot us down because they didn't like the idea. They should have shot us down because they just didn't want to feel like putting it in. There's too much work. We don't feel like putting it in.
Rattled?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Steelers fans will love this one. Have you ever heard of Mason Rudolph?
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
saying. I'm just
Or any quarterback that and see this was how hypocritical they were. I forgot what Madden it was, but it was at one particular point, if I'm not mistaken, they used to have it where if the quarterback got sacked, their throws start getting rushed. So that's a player getting rattled.
Yeah.
They had that.
oh
Just
yeah,
if
they
you ever get
did.
a chance, look at the features that they used to put on the back of your game. And it's like, wait a minute, what happened to that? What happened to the AI adjustments? What happened to the fact, like right now, on abilities, they got the Omaha abilities where the quarterback can, if he throws 4 straight passes, he can see the play arc. Well, they had that back then.
Yeah,
If you
Madden
ran the
08.
same
The
play,
Madden
and
08.
Madden 08, they had that back then.
Peyton
And
Manning
on
and
deep,
Palomalu had them for sure.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly. And if you ran the same play on defense, they had that aspect on, hey, now you run the same play. Now I know what you're going to run too. It was a cat and mouse game. It was a chess game. They
Yeah.
lost that aspect, and for what reason I don't know why. And I saw the writing on the wall way back in 2000, bro. Way back then, they were in the direction of we're going to the casual gamer.
You know what else they
And
snuck into an ability, and I don't know if everybody noticed it.
mm-hmm.
Remember how they introduced, and I don't know if that was this year on old gen, but I know on next gen. You notice how you don't see as many people reaching for the pylon and reaching for the first down. Now that's an
Mm-hmm.
ability
Yeah,
where they sold it
yeah,
to us as a feature.
as
Remember
a
that?
feature. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh
that's an
man,
Oh yeah,
that's an
yeah,
ability.
that's
That's
right.
an
Yeah,
ability
yeah.
now. And let me tell you
yeah.
how
Oh,
cheat. Let me
okay.
tell you how cheating that is ability. If you know how you can change your abilities. This is the best running back combination I found. To have tank, to have freight train, and that ability right there. And the reason being because, of course, freight train, once you get in freight train, you can't be stopped. Tank, you can't get hit stick. And every time you tackle, you're going to lean forward, or you're going to reach forward or lean forward every single time. So I hope it didn't blow for a lot of people. People gonna probably start putting, oh yeah, go ahead, put it in there. But that's basically what's going on now. It's like, you guys, I mean, personally, I'm not a big fan of the abilities. I think that if you earn it by the way that you play, fine. But making these adjustments, I got a game plan for abilities. I'm depending on who I play now. It's not
You know,
fun.
The
you know,
physics got to take over, man.
Yes,
I'm cool with the
yes,
abilities because it makes him personalize the player to some degree, but it can't. I just don't like absolutes. I don't like any of those ones
no,
where he can't fumble when he what? That's not real.
that's not
see,
real.
see, the thing is, fellas, the problem is that, and I noticed this from watching people playing NBA Live 19 vids, the resurgence of that, and even from playing 2K. Everybody wants to be able to do everything.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
So if
that
I'm
is a
on
fact.
defense, I want to be able to block every shot, take every charge, steal every ball, intercept
Yeah.
every pass. And when I can't do it, I'm complaining about it.
Yep.
I should be greening every shot. Doesn't matter who's in front of me. If I create a smidge of space, I should be greening everything because I've seen Steph do it in a highlight reel. Like,
Yep.
So and my thing is this. It's like people want to have all these different animations and they want they want authentic stuff in there, because when I see people complain, that do cheesy stuff.
Mm.
And it's like, but they complain, they want to make a complaint for authenticity, but they be doing cheesy stuff. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like they want, this kind of goes against what I'm saying about NBA Street and all that stuff. They want NBA Jam / NFL Blitz success rates, but they want the realistic package.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to be able to throw all the sacks the way that it should be able to be done, like how I see on Sundays, but I want to throw dots. Well, there's a problem there. No, I should be able to just do it because I'm playing comp. or no, I should just be able to just do it just because. Oh, but I got this ability, so that means that I should. No, at some point, football has to matter. At some point,
Exactly.
basketball,
Exactly.
soccer, hockey, you know what I mean? Whatever sport, that has to matter first. Put all the abilities you want in there, but the play, FIFA, Sim, we talked about this many times. My man Kia, he's in the chat. He plays PES and everything. You can have all kinds of skills. I could play with Lionel Messi. He can be stopped.
Yep.
Yeah.
Legitimately be stopped. He's not the heaviest guy on the field, and he ain't the fastest guy. He's fast, but if he kicks a pass and he has an ability with his passing accuracy, guess what? It could still be intercepted.
Yep.
And I mean, and look, I can have a
FIFA up right now. Now that you say that,
yeah, I could have a 60 overall player, and he can defend the pass. I could have a 70 overall goalkeeper. He's stopping his shot. Oh, but he's got accuracy and finesse this and all that. Yeah, but there still is a real world element that is still there to govern. Even with that freedom, you still got to have that within the level up here and the level down here. There's still an area where that realistic soccer has got to work with, right? It's not abilities fills all that in. So it's like whatever abilities in there, that's just gonna take over everything. No, that's not how it should be. Just like Sim made the point about. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brett. Make your point.
I was saying was that's how like the difference with 2K. 2K have those what they call it's not abilities but badges.
Yeah,
they have the badges, but you can still stop those guys even though they have those badges. And then not only that, when they're on fire, they don't stay on. Like I play with Tennessee, I play with Henry. Once I get on fire with him, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
they're not stopping me. I mean, if I get in the first quarter, he's gonna be like that for the rest of the game. You're not stopping me. In a sense, in real life, I kind of see that happening. I've seen that happen at times. But I've also seen Henry, like after a while, they start clacking him. He start, slowing down a little bit. And that's the thing. It's just a little bit overbearing. I kind of like compare it to like Call of Duty and Battlefield. And Call of Duty, if you don't start when everybody else start, and you try to jump into Call of Duty where everybody's prestiging up, you're gonna have a horrible night. But in Battlefield, you can be the highest rank, but you can still get capped. And that's more realistic. And it's like, dang, EA, just learn from your own mistakes, or learn from your own issues that you guys create. And they don't get that. But on the side note, you guys, I'm doing a draft. I might have to call EA on this. I drafted a running back named George Zimmerman just now.
Oh man!
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's like naming Adolf Hitler.
Boy.
Granted, and then they had the nerve to have him black.
George Zimmerman.
Wow.
George Zimmerman.
Yikes.
That is, I mean, how did that happen? Oh my God. I'm gonna change his name. There's no way I'm keeping George Zimmerman. There's no way. Oh, this is a question I want to ask you guys because I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys in a minute. Now, you guys got your PS5s?
Yeah.
Okay. And what positive aspects do you guys like on the Madden now?
Player movement.
Okay.
Biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because of that, it does seem like at times you do see better interactions. Like I see more animation that appears to trigger. In tackling, I still think that's the most physics part of the game when it happens. But there's still, some pre-canned tackling. But I do like how everybody can pile on now. Finally. You can have 4 or 5 people. Yeah. The reach tackles are semi-back, but all that really is like it's a tackle and, tackle while block or sack while blocked animation. But I do like, again, the player movement. I think even though the game is not quite where I feel like it should be, that player movement has changed a lot, and I think that's a nice foundation to build on
Me
because
too. Me too.
I feel like if they build on that, like now attack the next thing. Now go after making physics turned on at all times and keep presenting weight and momentum and see if they can get that together. And I don't know what they can do about the 2-man animation situation. I know 2K still has it, but I feel like 2K blends it a little better. Whereas a FIFA and a PES seem like their man to man, their 1-to-1 interactions is incredible. So I don't know where the fine line is there, but those, I don't think on the field, and I know some people ain't gonna agree with this, but on the field, especially offline, playing against a user is a totally different ballgame. But when you playing offline, Madden ain't the worst. Madden 21 is not the worst game you've ever played.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not that bad. It's just it's missing the things that of course we all want to see, but it's not like it's horrible. It's just that it's things that we want that we've been asking for a long time that's still not there. It just makes it harder to, be excited about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I basically feel the same way. I thought that I finally got a good feel of what a physics aspect of the game is supposed to finally feel like. Where when I'm running with Derrick Henry, I feel the truck aspect, and I feel like this little cornerback should not be tackling. And especially on the timing of how I put the truck stick in motion. Then I feel, and that's why I was going to get at earlier too. Why, when you guys are saying everybody wants to have it all, and it's like you're not enjoying the game. Like I feel I played with Henry, and I played with Christian, and it's two different type of running games, and I feel that style. I cut a lot better with Christian McCaffrey, but I can't cut as good with Henry, but I can play a different style of game. I can go north and south with Derrick Henry, whereas I can do better stretch plays with Christian McCaffrey, and I like that aspect. And I just wish that they have that style more on other characters, like especially on the receiving standpoint. It just needs to be more where the physical standpoint of a bigger player, like Mike Evans, should just, if you put this little corner on him, he's gonna have a field day. Right. All day long. They need to have more of a more in-depth aspect, and there's no more excuses, man, with this new generation of system. It's no more excuses. It just simply isn't.
Right.
And that's the thing that when I worked there too, when they used to still make a PC game, you used to see the difference in a PC than you did on a console. And rightfully so. A PC was more powerful. You can add more aspects to it. But now the consoles, I'm not saying that they'll never catch up to a PC, but they are up there where you can expect certain things to be in a game, and it needs to happen.
What you think, Smitty, man? What you like about next gen Madden, PS5 Madden?
Like for me, it's really just the player movement was really the biggest deal. Yeah. I do like I like the physics tackling that does happen at times. I like that. It's like they did refine the tackle animations, the degree of them.
You see some more variants now.
Yeah. So it's like they did do some work there. So I do like that. But outside of that and the player movement, that's really it. Like you said earlier, Brett.
Route running.
Route running.
You can throw player movement in that same category.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you said about the passing and everything, like I did have my instances when the game first came out where you could throw the ball to a spot, even though it's a timing pattern. But the way the player movement was, it made more sense. Like Whereas before, players would just hummingbird and slide and morph and shift into position like that. You still have the shifting because of those 2-man anthems.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is that you can still throw the ball to a spot at times. And that was the problem. It was selective. It wasn't like a huge deal. It was just partially selective. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm like the game is decent, you know, like is it enough that I just want to keep on playing it over and over? No, not really. You know, it doesn't hit on enough cylinders to really keep my attention like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I mean it's okay. Like I would just say like I would say C- on it. You know, like
yeah. That's where I'm at. I mean, I was excited when it first came out, but now the excitement is gone, and I'm actually playing more on the PS4 than I am on the PS5 now, and you know, we just got to be patient and hopefully they're taking heed and start to make things better. There's no, you know, again, there's no more excuses. There's just simply no more excuses. It is some type of improvement, you know, on both aspects, from gameplay and franchise. Just show us some depth for a change, please. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
Yes,
I really
depth.
can't wait for the MLB The Show to come out because I can imagine what that's going to be like.
Yeah, man.
That's going to be real nice.
A question from the chat, Brett. Somebody asked earlier, real quick, and I guess we can wrap up with that.
Okay.
They wanted to know, since you know you've been in development and specifically at EA, they wanted to know how difficult is it to actually program players like AI, and I'll add to that some, you know, just preference it a little bit with some of my thoughts as far as that's one of the other areas that I wish Madden would really address. You know, of course, my top three, because now I don't want to say I can walk away from player movement. It's just that I think player movement has gotten there, and they can continue to build on that tech, because that RFID technology, I think that's going to end up being major. But the next things would be player interaction, which would include physics and weight and momentum, 2-man interaction, et cetera, and then AI. Because to me, I mean, those are the biggest things that's wrong with the game.
Yeah.
And when you look at other games, Smitty is my witness. A lot of these games, even we love, the AI wasn't great in terms of defense. I mean, go all the way, go to 2K8 and all of that. Come on, man. I mean, even, you know, people always think I'm trying to hate on the game, which at one time, along with Smitty and Azure, we were putting out the most videos you would find on 2K8 on the net. But facts are facts. Like, one thing I've always hated about that game is the broken tackles. Completely unrealistic. I'm sorry. Y'all can say they were. It was ridiculously unrealistic in 2K, even though we still appreciated 2K8 for the passing, the animations, the route running, stuff like that. But my point is, we've always gravitated to Backbreaker's AI system. It seems like they were able to master the think on the fly and you know, things like that. So how difficult is it I mean, you know, how hard is it for them to go in and really start retooling the AI in Madden? Because I've heard Clint even say before that's something that he really wants the game to get to a point to where it's uber smart. So is that a real difficult task in your opinion? You know, just from a dev standpoint?
No, it's not, man. It's not. It was the reason why it makes it so difficult because, like I said earlier, they're catering to a casual gamer. So if you're catering to a casual gamer, you don't have to worry as much input to put in there, which it doesn't make it right, but that's just where they're at, and that's frustrating because when you're doing that, man has lost his identity. The identity, if you look at from when the inception to the last PS2 game, it always evolved. And once it got to the PS3 and the 360, it lost its creativity. It catered to the to the masses and to the casual gamer. And it's not, it shouldn't be that way. The attributes, just think about this. Attributes, the main attributes in this game is speed, agility, and strength. And other aspects don't really cater as much as it should, but they just want to be on it they just want to satisfy the masses and the casual gamer, and that's the frustrating part about it. To be honest with you, what's the hardest sports game to create? Baseball.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Baseball is the hardest. That's the hardest game to create because it's an infinity amount of scenarios you have to create. The particular person, what type of pitch he likes, what's his average, what's the percentage of him hitting that pitch, of the speed. It's just so many different things. But they capture it though. So how could you not? And they capture it. They capture it where it's just a person pitching the ball and you're hitting it, but they get it right. Why can you not do that in Madden? Why does it like my speed has to make that much of a difference? There's a lot of corners like Richard Sherman never was the fastest, but he held his own.
Technique.
Why can't that make a difference? And the reason being, it catered to the masses. It's a simple way out. When I worked on other games there, when they had, you got your easy level to your hard level, the only difference between easy and hard, instead of taking 3 kills to kill a person, it took 10. Same movements, same pattern, same everything. And they might have moved faster. That's not creativity. It's the easy way out. That's not artificial intelligence. That's just adding aspects to making it tougher.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to get out of that aspect. They got to stop thinking about the casual gamer. And that's why, if you really think about, like I said, the last great game that he made was what, the 06 Madden, because of the 05 NFL 2K was on their heels. That competition was getting to them, so they had to stay on point. I didn't want to ever admit this, but it's the truth. Once they got the license, they like, hey, we got nothing to lose. We're coasting from here on out. And they got bad habits, and hopefully they can get out of it. Hopefully it can strike a nerve with enough people where we will be able to hear our voice and get things accomplished, man. I don't want to bail out on them. I've been with them for too long. I've been with them since it came out in 90. It is 2021. I'm not gonna leave now, but man, sometimes they make it hard. They make it tough, bro. They make it real tough.
Man, and we say it all the time, but just to make sure that it's not coming out of Smitty and my mouth, you worked there. You was a developer. Please tell the people whose decision it is when it comes to these things.
The big wigs, the executives.
Thank you.
I mean, you can't just think about this. It's like the owners of a football team. You can be mad all you want, and you might be right, but you ain't writing that check. That's as simple as it can get. You don't control the stock options that they have. You don't. Right. They're the ones that make the big decisions. Granted, when it first came out, they didn't have this is the biggest difference. And this is something I should have said a long time ago. The biggest difference between then and now is this. The executives that made that game were also the producers and understood what it took to make that game. Those guys are gone now. The executives are guys that their specialty might be cooking, but they got the money to make this monkey go. That's the difference now. Those big wigs are not no producers. They don't know big video game developers. They had no idea how to develop a game. They have every idea how to make that money. Mm-hmm. And that's what the biggest difference is. When I first started there, the majority of the producers and some of the big wigs were still video game producers. They moved them out now. Because they knew how to make the game, but they didn't know how to make that money. It's a big company now. That aspect is gone. Hopefully one day you can convince them. but it's really hard, man. It's really hard.
Hey, it's like the equivalent of making a football team black out their games.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You got to hit them there. Like that's look, the Ford family ain't get. They let Matt Millen run the team in the ground. Everybody saying fire Millen and all that. None of those guys gave a care. People getting on the radio, oh, I'm selling my season ticket and I didn't had it for 40 years and all that.
Yeah.
They didn't give a care about none of that until they could give their tickets away for free and they were getting games blacked out. They like, hey, I know we ain't no playoff team, but we only got 8 chances to be on television. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we lose 1 or 2 of them things, hey, that's a lot of dang on money now.
Yeah.
Hold on. And now all of a sudden you got the Ford family all on the media and everything. Oh, we're looking for the coach and we're gonna work with the NFL and everything. Like, oh yeah, now you care. See what I'm saying? So you gotta hit them. And I mean, I know we said that, and I know it's not going to happen. We know that people are going to buy. This is why we're saying competition so badly, because that's like the closest you're going to get to possibly making that shift happen in terms of, oh, we ain't buying this, we buying this over here. When you got a choice, you have that. Otherwise, you saying that with the only choice you have,
right?
You're not going to get people to walk away from that, especially when they care about the NFL. And a lot of people, they'll play the game, they'll just buy the game and play it for a few weeks and call it a day. I mean, the same thing happened with NCAA as well. Y'all seen what happened at GameStop. People loved NCAA. The same people that was standing in line waiting to get NCAA, a few weeks later, same folk in line with that copy of NCAA to trade it in for Madden. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like that. So hey, like he said, big wigs, man. That's it. It's big business, man. And now it's at a point now where they ain't got no shame in showing it. Like it's they be like, no, we made these billions of dollars and we only giving these resources to XYZ. Andrew Wilson made a statement about live saying how we haven't really backed that product accordingly. No, you think? You know what I'm saying? So they made the decisions to underfinance these games and everything. They're like, man, we playing cheaper to keeper. Until somebody makes them change that, they're gonna keep their same practices up. They ain't got no reason to change.
Yeah. So, I mean, think about this. I don't know what phones you guys got. I have an Apple. Some of you guys might have an Android. Do you know how much money Apple made since when the Apple 12 Pro came out? You know how much money they made since now?
A lot.
$1 billion a day. They made $1 billion a day.
See,
you think they're gonna change anything if you're making $1 billion a day? 30 days is 30 billion. That's an average. Come on, man.
People play that guap. I'm telling you, man. Like they'll pay. Hey, they'll pay the just like Sim. You had an Apple laptop, even with everything that it had, and it was an older one you had at the time. But the point of the matter is, people, man, they'll be like, man, yo, they came out with a new MacBook Pro. Oh, snap. I just bought one about a year ago. I got to buy that one. All that money, they slapping it on the table. Like, go ahead, whatever it costs, $1,500, $1,600, knowing you could get one cheaper, but they got to have that Apple, man. They stuck with it. And they like, no, I'm committed to this. Let me drop that $3,500 and get me that desktop real quick.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And when I read that, I said, "Am I reading right? $1 billion a day?
That's crazy, man."
Well, man, that's last 2 things I'll say, man, and then we'll get up out of here. Looking at my man Buddy Cookies 22, he says, meanwhile, RBT said, fix Madden franchise, and a week later made $1,000 Mutt Pack opening video.
See?
The reason why I want to point that out is trust and believe. most of the people that y'all see that go ham against Madden, they play it. And this is the reason why Smitty and I, not to toot no horn, but we keep it realer than most. You can do both. We can critique the game, but if you play it, so what? It's a video game, and we ain't gonna stop their money. We ain't big enough for that. But just keep making noise. The Fix Madden franchise made some noise. So keep doing that. But if you play the game, nobody's blaming you. That's why I never understood those folk. They're ready to cut your head off. Oh, you playing Madden. So what? You can be critical, and it's a video game.
Yeah.
But then the other thing, like Brett said, man, that's what you call corporate America. It's happened to me. I had a job before where I had to train my boss. That's called corporate America. Man. She didn't know about the business, but she was good with people. So that's why she was hired. It's the same analogy Brett just said about they don't know nothing about football. And Rex told y'all that.
Yeah, he sure did.
They don't believe me and Smitty, Brett. When we say this stuff, and it's funny, I be watching the chat and people, oh, really? Oh, this is the stuff we have told y'all for years. But for whatever reason, when we say it, I don't know if that's true. All right. I'm trying to tell you, we know. We've been down there. We know.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I seen it firsthand, man. Firsthand. Way back then.
They got talented people on that staff.
Big wigs in marketing that controls that.
Very talented people down there. Great ideas and everything. And they're not able to create.
Yeah.
when
So
Dev leaves and he uses the word creative differences, what do you guys think that means? When a guy like Mike Wang leaves 2K, because he even admitted, it had his chest poked out a little bit. I'm going to go to EA and see what they about. Leaves EA and goes back to 2K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yep.
That's called creative differences. One company has this vision, another company has that vision.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel I don't know. Look, I don't know what Rob and Scott OG or whatever are working on, but I'm pretty. It would not surprise me in the least bit if they said we gonna come back if. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure to a degree they're calling their shot.
Yeah.
In order for them to come back, especially to leave 2K and come back over to EA like that. Like, yeah, you had to.
2K might be. I mean, EA might be offering the bag though.
That's what I'm not. No, they could be, but they'd be like, hey,
they might be offering the bag. Like I done told people millions of times. It's people used to always call me and Smitty. Oh, y'all shout out to EA.
Oh,
listen,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
If EA was paying me, I'm gonna just say something crazy. They paid me $300,000 a year to campaign Madden. Guess what I'd be doing?
Oh,
campaign Madden.
Campaign Madden with a big old sign.
It don't mean that much to me, folks. This is a video game. You think I'm gonna turn down the money because it's but we gotta fight for the cause? I get all that, but we still talking about video games. We ain't talking about, we ain't talking about the I have a dream speech. This ain't civil rights movement where it's important for the people. Like, come on, man. For video games, you missing me with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
On.
Man, I'm about to get out of here. I got my little grandson here. He's waking up from his nap.
Yeah. I'm about to get out of here too, man. Perfect time.
Okay,
Appreciate
man.
that, grandson. Getting us
Appreciate
out of here.
that.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, Brett, man, we're gonna have to get you on again, man.
Yeah,
man.
Time, so
Most definitely, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Just keep doing your thing, man. I appreciate it so much. I talk about you guys all the time, man.
No
Appreciate
doubt,
it,
brother.
man. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Well, yeah, we catch
Okay,
you later,
guys.
man. Take care, man.
All right, man. All right,
All
man.
right.
All right, guys. So we're gonna follow suit, man. Me and Smitty gonna get out of here. Like I said, man, I appreciate a lot of you guys that say, man, y'all love what we do because we level-headed. That's how you gotta be. Did me and Smitty and Azure and others make noise early on, like way back in 2010, and to a degree, because we didn't know then. We were on the outside like this, banging on the door. Let us in, let us in, let us in. Then they let us in. Then they showed us, look at this is how it works.
Mm.
Once we got a level of understanding, we was like, oh, we're screaming at the wrong people. Oh, it's your boss doing. Oh, okay. And it's like that level of rah 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 comes down because we know what the issue is now.
Mhm.
So now we just more relaxed in the approach, and it's more of the hashtag fix Madden franchise. But it makes no sense for us to go rah rah. Like that's just ain't. In a way,
Yeah,
we look silly to the people that know us if we do that. I guarantee you, a dev that I'm cool with would hit me and be like, "Come, man, what? You know you ain't got to do that." You know what I'm saying? Like we have conversation. Like you don't have to do that just for the views. Because honestly, if I was doing that, it would be just for the views. And I'm not going at nobody. I'm just saying that's a lane. So I respect that lane, but it don't make sense for us to do that. So I just always bring that up because people could, daily people still be like, man, I wish y'all was like how y'all used to be. Oh, come on, man. That don't accomplish nothing. That's not me and Smitty's lane to do that at this point. You know what I mean? Like when I got devs right in here that I can call and yo, what's going on? Da, 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 da. You know. Y'all don't never see Kia go crazy like that, do y'all? And Kia has a great relationship with people in that building.
Yep.
He don't have to do that. He can literally send feedback to them and say, look, this is what's happening, yada, 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 and keep it civil. You know, we grown men now. I guess maybe that's what it is, Smitty. We done got older.
I don't know. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. It's just that we got educated, and then we saw, oh snap, okay, this is much bigger than what we presumably thought.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, in order for this really to move, they gotta move it. Like inside, they have to make the changes. It's not gonna be exclusively on just us, the people that do it. You know what I mean? Or sim community guys that are gonna make it happen. Excuse me. I mean, regardless, and that's the whole thing. We can make all the points that we want negatively, but then guess what they're going to look at from a business standpoint? Look what we're sitting at, and so it's like when you're jostling with the business side, they're clearing billions, dude. You're not. They're making way beyond purchase what in terms of beyond copy sales. These guys are no. You're not making a dent in that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, no, don't play it and this, that, the third, and everything. Like I said, you can make noise with fixed Madden franchise and stuff like that. That stuff is viable, especially when it's going towards something viable. That you can do. But everything else is just like, yeah, no, they got to be allowed to do it, like what Brett told you.
Yeah, so that's just it, man.
Yep.
Hey, real life situation. I'm going through it right now at my job. We are implementing this new system that is going to completely change the way the entire corporation does business, right? And because myself and others, that's on the management side, it affects each one of our businesses. We're doing all the testing. We're doing all of and every day, myself and others are kind of like, y'all sure we gonna release on this date? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about maybe we should do it this way? And what comes back down? Nah, this is how we doing it. So what I'm supposed to do?
Right.
What y'all people gonna look at me and gonna say, oh, that's the reason. Hey, listen, I said, we brought these things up, but they have a decision that they've decided this is what we're doing. We're gonna move forward on this date. Test as much as you can, and that's how it goes, folks. I mean, again, we're not making excuses. I just think, again, me and Smitty are just level-headed, man. It's like once I got that understanding, and I was like, oh man, it ain't these dudes. First time me and Smitty saw them in person, they telling us stuff that we hadn't thought about that they had on the table, and I'm like, oh wow, so y'all ain't the problem. Here I am thinking y'all just didn't know what y'all was doing.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So, but again, we're not doing that. That's not really the conversation we wanted to, end with. We're just saying, bottom line, like I was telling Smitty before the show started, let's just enjoy ourselves, man. Live your life as happy as you can without having to be so in your feelings about this video game. I'm having a great time on this thing right here. I'm enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? When Madden gets on my nerves, I take it out of my life a little bit. I don't play in the league no more because I just needed that break. But, I'm doing okay offline when I want to. Playing 2K and playing Spider-Man. That's all. Let's wait and see what's going to happen, man. Hopefully we got some other options coming. Too bad. I wish the announcement was like, oh, by the way, college is coming back. It'll be dropping this summer. That would have been great.
Right. That would be.
That's all, man. Let's just not get so riled up. And again, Smitty in chat, the only reason why I'm saying that, because I still see some of you guys on Twitter. It's just every day. How y'all keep that up every day? It's not healthy. It ain't healthy, man. Like, complain, yeah, but it's like every day. How, if it bothers you that much, walk away. I don't know. But I'm out of here, guys. It's 10:25. We are going to sign off. And we hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And I'm very saddened that either Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell will have a Super Bowl ring this weekend. Not mad at them. It's just that should have happened. I'm sorry. Listen, that defense just never was good enough to match that offense. But we still a nation. We should be saying, man, them killer bees, yo, they got us a Super Bowl. That should have happened. That offense. Just think about that. Think about like 2016 to 2018. Lord have mercy. That offense was outstanding. No defense. But whatever. Happy for those dudes, man. But anyway, we out. See y'all later. Have a good one. Enjoy yourselves. Be blessed. Be safe. God bless.